The first thing she noticed was the smell. Not the usual mixture of candle wax, wood smoke, and damp stone that clung to the old house, but something faintly sweet, like fruit left too long in a cellar. A smell that did not belong. Margaret, the night maid, paused in the hall, her lamp held low to the floor. The corridors were still, the heavy curtains drawn against the winter cold. Every door was shut as it should be. Every sound was hushed. Yet that sweetness lingered, curling at the edge of her breath, as though it had been waiting for her to notice. She almost set it aside, just a trick of her nose, she thought, but something in the silence urged her forward. Margaret's days were filled with small, thankless tasks. She rose before dawn to sweep ashes from the hearths, carried water from the yard, mended linens by the kitchen fire. The masters of the house rarely looked at her, and the other servants mostly kept to their own corners. Night duty fell to her because she was quiet, obedient, and no one else wished to walk the house after dark. But Margaret did not mind the night. She liked the way the walls seemed softer in the candlelight, the way her footsteps echoed in empty halls. She had grown used to the silence, to the sense that the house itself was listening. And yet, tonight, that sweetness. She followed it. Past the dining room, where long shadows lay across the table. Past the drawing room, where portraits of grim-faced ancestors stared into the gloom. Each step seemed to pull her deeper into a place she half knew, half feared. At the foot of the stairs, the air grew colder. She hesitated, then climbed, her lamp trembling just enough to send shadows wavering along the wall. On the landing, she paused again. A sound. Faint, deliberate. A slow dragging across the floorboards, as though something heavy was being moved in the room above. Her heart began to knock against her ribs. No one should be awake at this hour. The family was away, gone to London for the season. Only the servants remained, and they were sleeping soundly in the quarters below. Margaret should have turned back. But the sound drew her on, step by cautious step, until she stood before the nursery door. It had been shut since the family left. No children's voices, no laughter, no crying. Yet now, the handle was cold beneath her hand, and the smell, sickly sweet, was strongest here. She pushed the door open. The room looked unchanged. The small bed neatly made, the toys arranged in their places. But the air was thick, heavy, as though someone had been sitting in the dark too long. Her lamp cast its glow over the rocking horse by the window, the dollhouse against the wall, the faded wallpaper pattern with birds in flight. And there, against the far wall, the faint scrape again. Margaret's eyes darted toward the sound. A toy. A wooden soldier. Its paint chipped, its face blank. It lay tipped on its side, though she was certain she had seen it standing upright a moment ago. She knelt, reaching out. Her fingers brushed the wood, cold as if it had been kept in a cellar. She set it back on its feet. When she turned, the rocking horse had shifted. Its head faced the bed now, though she had not heard it move. Margaret swallowed hard. The lamp shook in her hand. And then, so soft she thought she imagined it, the bedclothes stirred. As if something beneath the covers had drawn a breath. She stepped back, one hand pressed to her chest. No child should be there. No one at all. Yet the shade beneath the quilt rose, slowly, as though sitting up. Her lamp dimmed. The flame sputtered. In that flickering light, the quilt slipped down, and she glimpsed, not a child's face, but a hollow. A dark space where a face should be, framed by hair that seemed too long, too heavy, to belong to anything living. The sweetness of the air grew cloying, unbearable, filling her mouth and throat until she could hardly breathe. She fled. Down the stairs, past the portraits, past the silent rooms, the lamp swinging wildly in her grip. Her heart raced, her breath came in ragged gasps, but behind her, she thought she heard it. The slow creak of the rocking horse. The quiet thud of small feet following. Margaret did not stop until she reached the servants' quarters, slamming the door shut behind her. She sat there in the dark, the lamp guttered out, the taste of raw sweetness clinging to her tongue. For a long time, nothing. Only the sound of her own breathing. Then, softly, almost politely, 3 knocks against the door. Margaret did not speak of that night. When the family returned, the nursery stood exactly as they had left it. The bed smooth, the toys in place, the rocking horse still facing the window. But sometimes, while scrubbing floors or polishing silver, Margaret would pause. She would catch the faintest whiff of that sweetness, drifting through the halls. And she knew. Something had woken while the house lay empty. Something that had been waiting in the nursery, patient as dust, silent as the portraits on the wall. At night, when the others slept, Margaret would hear it moving again. The soft scrape of wood against floor. The creak of a toy's hinge. The faint sound of breathing where no one should be. And though she never set foot in the nursery again, she always felt it. Waiting. Listening. Alive.